Hey guys, welcome back to the NBTXliving channel. My name is Chase Bradley.
I'm Veronica Bradley.
And today we're going to talk about the best and the worst things about Canyon Lake. Whether you plan to live there or just spend some time there on vacation, Canyon Lake is amazing. The views, the fun, the nature, Canyon Lake has it all. But is this watery getaway hiding something troubling underneath its glassy surface?
All right, so let's get into this. The lake and river life.
Being in Canyon Lake area, you have the benefit of having the Guadalupe River and Canyon Lake within a very short driving distance away. So if you don't like spending a lot of time on the lake, you don't like deep water, then you've got the river, which is, relatively shallow. It's a lot clearer here than it is, say in Seguin or somewhere a little bit downstream.
There's the beautiful clay, which kind of makes the water murky.
You don't want to get so deep in the water. There's always boating, power boating, kayaking, skiing, fishing. There's a lot of other things you can do there. Definitely a pro if you like being on the water. Another great thing about Canyon Lake is you get to support local every time you go there.
Well, we love supporting local business owners. There's so many great restaurants out there, the food, ranging from Italian food, a lot of Mexican restaurants out there. There's a lot of hole-in-the-wall Mexican restaurants. Actually, some of the hole-in-the-walls are good, in my opinion. I don't really see it. There are some food trucks out there, not as much as you would get in New Braunfels. A lot of boutiques. There are wineries. So if you like to drink wine or just, have a winery trip one day, there's a lot to choose from.
Okay, so if you're like me and you like your peace and quiet, Canyon Lake may be a place to go. So outside of obviously very busy tourist seasons, spring break and kind of summer time frame, the rest of the time you can have your own little private acreage with your house set on it, and all you really hear out there is nature. It's very peaceful.
It's super peaceful.
A lot of the times that we go out there, the only things that we'll ever see are deer, walking across the street. So it's a very peaceful area. If you kind of want that in your life, you don't mind being further away from, society, then yeah, Canyon Lake is very peaceful.
Yeah, we've had a lot of clients in the past move to Canyon Lake. Also Fisher, Texas, which is right outside of Canyon Lake. Easy commute to the lake, but they're looking for the hill country living. They like to birdwatch. They have kayaks. They like to do all. And speaking of our clients, the two that I'm thinking in particular, they're retired. So they really enjoy that. And one of the things I asked them is, what do they really like about it? They're like, they can just go outside and it's so peaceful and so quiet. They love it.
Yeah, you're really just kind of immersed in nature.
All right, so let's talk about the history of Canyon Lake.
It wasn't always a lake. I mean, it was dammed in 1964. It was really when they started it. Finished in 1966 is when they officially called it a lake. But prior to that, there was actually two cities over there, at Hancock and Cranes Mill. So that's why a lot of the times when you drive around Canyon Lake, you'll see little references to the past there, like Cranes Mill, Cranes Landing, Hancock, different kind of nods to the past like that.
Yeah. So literally when you're in the lake or around the lake, just think that there are two cities underneath. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the pros of Canyon Lake. So let's switch gears and talk about the cons of Canyon Lake.
Driving in Canyon Lake can be a little sketchy at times, only because there's some very high roads, some very low roads, some roads that if you don't make your turn in time, you go off into really an abyss of a valley. So it gets kind of sketchy out there, especially when you're driving at night. There's no lights out there. If you're in the city, there's business lights and stuff, but out on the outskirts or even in like getting into the city, there's no lights. So it's kind of difficult driving out there at night.
The roads can be dangerous, so you just really need to take precaution when driving out there.
Another thing that is not good about living in the Canyon Lake area is flooding. So being near both a river and a lake, you are very subject to flooding. Also, the water, when it does rain there, it doesn't really absorb into the ground as great as it does in some other parts. So you always see flash floods. Flash floods can easily turn a once drivable road into an undrivable road, and then you're stranded.
As we're making this video, we're in the August of 2024. This past summer, we've seen some rains, which thank you, Lord Jesus, because last year we were in a drought. And our lakes and rivers and our farmers, we need the rain. But pay attention to the weather, because Texas really does have bipolar weather. One day it's raining, one day it's hot. We're in triple digits right now. We're in a heat advisory. It's just be prepared.
So on the exact opposite side of the spectrum, we get a lot of droughts here. So like she was saying, last year we had a drought. It had gone like 60 plus days with no rain, not a drop of water at all.
My poor pool.
And that's kind of what happens, right? So living on the lake, and you want to be able to go in and just have fun, but the lake waters have receded pretty significantly all over, I'd say central, south Texas, or maybe even all over Texas. The waters in the rivers and the lakes are just not as high as what they used to be. So it's something that you have to think about. You know, your waterfront property may not necessarily be a waterfront property all the time.
Especially if you're getting a waterfront property, that's something to think about, because people get waterfront, like legit waterfront properties. That's what they pay for. They pay for that $1 million view. So if you're looking for a waterfront property, just keep in mind water does recede. Although it didn't stop the visitors and the tourists last summer and spring break touring Canyon Lake and having fun. So another con is traveling to local grocery stores, gas. If you want to go, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go shopping and you don't want to do like boutique shopping, you want to go to the mall. If you want to just go shopping like at a Walmart or Target, you're going to have to drive a distance to get there. Some people are okay with that. They live in Canyon Lake knowing that they're going to have to come into town, you know, and get the essentials that they need.
Yeah, they don't even have an HEB in Canyon Lake. I mean, they've got other grocery stores. They've got like Brookshire Brothers and Lowe's, but they don't have an HEB, which is like a Texas staple. But, you know, with a 20, 30-minute drive, it gets you to an HEB. The one thing that I do want to highlight, because we've ran into this in the past, there's different sides of the lake. And just depending on where you're at, you know, it may be like 10-minute distance so straight across, but you're having to cross the lake straight across. So if you want to get to your friend's house, which lives on one side of the lake, and you live on the other side of the lake, you've got to drive all the way around.
And it's a beautiful scenic drive. You're just gonna have to take it. Another con that some people who have a boat, they want to dock their boat on their property, in front of their property, have a pier. So Canyon Lake, you can't do that. You can't dock it on your property. There's a public boat ramps throughout the lake. So if you have a boat, you need to remember, how am I gonna store it, right? Number one, can I store it on my property? Do I have to store it in a facility? And number two, I can't technically dock it on my property, like, because there's no docks for the residents at least, but there's local public boat ramps.
Well, that's gonna do it for this video. What do y'all guys think about Canyon Lake? Is it all it's made out to be? Weighing out the pros and the cons, do you still see yourself visiting here or possibly even living here? Well, if you do, make sure you stick around to our channel, because we're gonna talk a lot more about Canyon Lake. We've already done one video, we kind of just Canyon Lake overview. We've got a couple more videos coming about the Canyon Lake area. Wouldn't want to miss them. Make sure you stick around for that. If you do feel like we've missed anything about this Canyon Lake area though, make sure you let us know in the comments below. If we don't see you in the comments below, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
Bye.
Bye.